A repetitive use of a limited ability will always produce a increased capacity. So just because you can't do something right now doesn't mean you can't do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Zamat's podcast, where we focus on
faith,
family,
fitness,
finances, and
friendships.
friendships. Today I'm going to be reading from Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, and it reads, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Amen.
Amen.
All right, family. So if you are new here, we're going to be reading some questions from a game called Who Are You? And it's just simply a question game. And it has 4 topics, okay? The topics are self-awareness, possibilities and potential, fears and insecurities, and then connections, okay? So we're each going to read 2 questions each, and then we're going to answer them according to the question.
All right. Hey, y'all. I'm going to do self-awareness. What emotions or feelings are you experiencing at this moment?
Gratitude.
At this very moment.
At this very moment. Gratitude and joy. Those are the emotions. What about you?
Happiness and sleepiness.
Happiness and sleepiness.
Yeah.
That's a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up is possibilities and potential. All right. It reads, what does your dream job look like? Well, I don't have a dream job.
You know.
Oh, my bad.
Wait a second.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Are you potting by yourself?
I'm sorry. This is for my bride. Let me read it again. It says, what does your dream job look like?
Doing whatever I want to do, when I want to do it. So basically, self-employed. But self-employed to where I've already have the business, the staff to run the business, how I put it in place, and I don't have to really be there. That's my dream job.
But what's the business? What would you
helping people. Anything that's helping people. Mentally, physically, emotionally, connected to
physically.
Fitness.
Oh, behave. Okay.
You back?
I'm back. All right.
So yeah, anything catered towards women. Like my business is catering to women in need of mental change. So that is my dream job, is helping women mentally.
That's good. I like that. All right.
What does your dream job look like?
Oh, I got it. Okay, my bad. So my dream job. So my dream job wouldn't be a job. Okay, so I got to change the question a little bit, or my answer to that question. It wouldn't be a job. It'll be a business. And what would it be? It would be communication. What we're doing right now. My dream job is to be a teacher through communication. A teacher through communication. She has an issue with my because sometimes I admit sometimes I try to teach people how to swim while they're drowning. And that may not be the best time.
Right? Not the best time.
Okay, so yes, teaching through communication. All right, now next one.
It's not your turn.
Oh.
Fears and insecurities. What's up? List your biggest fear. Have you ever tried to overcome it?
My biggest fear is succeeding at something that I wasn't called to do. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that whatever I commit my life to, it's what I'm supposed to be doing. Right?
That's good.
I don't want to be successful in the area that isn't necessarily the area that I was created for. You know, there's a lot of successful people but there's a lot of rich people who are unsuccessful, right? And what I mean by that is they may have the money, but they're unfulfilled because they're doing something that isn't what they're designed for. They're doing something that isn't, fulfilling their heart and touching their spirit man. So That's my biggest fear. What about you? What's your biggest? What's wait? List your biggest fear. Have you ever tried to overcome it?
My biggest fear would have to be holding on too long. Yeah. So within myself, I know that I attach to people very strongly. When I built that connection, that bond with them, love them. When I love someone, it's hard for me to let go.
Yeah.
So my fear is always it's a constant battle of when to let people go and when to continue to hold on to people.
That's good.
Have you ever tried to overcome it? Yeah, I've had to overcome it. Like I'm faced with that obstacle in my life. I'm faced with more than anything else in my life. Like you know that you're faced with battles that you need to overcome. That's the battle that I have to overcome. And letting people go that I love is very difficult for me. Like it takes time because I love so hard. So I be wanting to save everybody or teach or mentor or give everybody a second, third, fourth, fifth chance because I understand, okay, at one point I wasn't perfect or like I wasn't always this way. But at the same time, it's like I was always this way because I would be weird.
Some people deserve it. Some people don't deserve it.
Yeah.
The second chance or second, third, fourth, fifth chance. Some people deserve that. Some people don't.
But I'm to the point now, like, don't nobody deserve that second, third. Like, you're not gonna get that out of me. I'm too old. Yeah, I'm 27 now, so it's like, no thanks.
And I'm 28. Okay. Next category is connections. The question is, what is the most important thing to you in a friendship?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. That's Lauryn Hill.
Oh wow, she did say that.
Yeah. And no one loves you more than me. And no one ever will. No matter how I treat you, you always seem to let me know it ain't working. It ain't working. And when I try to walk away, you hurt yourself to make me stay. This is crazy.
Crazy.
This is crazy.
Crazy.
And sing.
What would you say? What is the most important thing to you in friendship?
The most important thing to me in friendship is trust. If I can't trust you, I can't do nothing with you.
Yeah. I felt thrown away.
Yeah.
Bucket. I feel like, yeah, all of that, but I feel like reciprocation, all that fall in there.
Yeah.
Because if I trust you, then you need to trust me. I mean, if you trust me, you get what I'm saying.
You elaborating on my answer?
Yes, because you did that to mine.
Okay. That wraps up our questions.
Yeah.
Let's get into the pod. All right, family. So the topic for this week is going to be persistence. Right? Persistence. So I have a gentleman that mentors me. His name is Ashley Holland. And I had lunch with Mr. Holland probably about 2 or 3 months ago. And the primary thing that he told me or that he shared with me as a piece of advice was to persist in anything that I do. Right? He told me about all of his failures and all of the things that he overcame. And the only reason he was able to overcome it is through his persistence, right? And continuing to push forward despite what happened in his life and what he was going through. So we want to talk about persistence. The scripture says, do not be weary in well doing, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. Right? So in the society that we live in today, unfortunately, everything is like instant. Right? We got microwaves, we got Instagram, we got, Twitter. It's just everything is instant.
That's why our generation considered the popcorn generation.
Popcorn generation, right? They call us the popcorn generation because everything that we have is instant, right? We want some information, we go right online on our phone. We literally have computers in our pocket. So anything that we want, we can usually get it instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is when it comes to achieving something, right, something great, when it comes to accomplishing something great, that's going to take persistence and it's going to take overcoming some challenges that are inevitable. And I think a lot of people nowadays are not willing to go through those challenges or grow through those challenges in order to get to that next level, right? In order to achieve a specific goal. So I wanted to ask you a question, sweetheart, because this resonates with me heavy. I used to think that when I was younger, right, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I thought as a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That being said, when I was a child, um, I used to I used to want things to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I used to hope that things weren't as difficult for me as they may have been for another person in anything.
Like,
Right?
okay.
Yeah, just in anything. I just wanted it to be easier for me because I felt like, hey, if it's easier, then the chances of me completing it or accomplishing it are very high, right? If it's easier. But I found out that the contrary is true, right? The easier something is, the more likely somebody is to quit or to give up or to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, why do you think so many people have a hard time persisting in pursuing an objective, whatever that objective may be? Like, why is it so hard for people to like push through? What do you think is the reason for that?
I feel like a lot of it is because it's new.
What do you
Like
mean?
most of the time, like when people are trying to push through to do something, it's because it's new, it's different, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that's comfortable. If you have to be, first of all, let's acknowledge this. If you have to be persistent in something, it's not easy. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Like for me to, what example can I use? Doing hair. For me to braid somebody's hair, I don't have to push through to do that.
Yeah.
It's easy to me now. But
Right.
if you would have saw me in sixth grade trying to grip a teddy bear's hair to
difficult.
putting braiding hair on there, it was difficult.
Yeah.
And I understand me doing it like that. I was perfecting my craft in a way that I didn't understand because the hair on a teddy bear is very small. Like, so the grip brain game of me doing hair is crazy, but me being able to do that is easy. Now, me trying to do some nails, I got the foundation of it, but I wasn't persistent to actually learn the technique in a way to where you wouldn't be able to tell if I went to a professional or if I did. If I do my nails right now with the acrylic and everything, you would be able to tell, okay, yeah, those not professional or those are old type stuff. Because I wasn't persistent in it. Why? Because it's hard, because it was uncomfortable, because you got to use both hands. It's easy for me to do this hand because I'm right-handed, but to do my right hand, I'm not left-handed, so I would have to be persistent and stay consistent in that. So I think it's because it's uncomfortable, because it's new, and because it's hard is why a lot of times people don't want to be persistent in whatever it is.
That's good. No, that's real good, man. That's perfect examples. I think, that a lot of people have a hard time persisting in things that their heart isn't in, right? There's a quote that goes, "When the why is clear, the how to will appear." Right? So when you have a clear vision, when you have a clear reason for doing something, there's nothing that you can't do, literally. There's nothing that you can't accomplish when you have a clear picture of the outcome after you accomplish the thing, right? Or when you have a big reason for doing, whatever it is that you're doing. There was a story in the news some years ago where a mom picked up a car, right? There was a car under her or on top of her baby, right? A car ran over her baby, and the car was like, I don't know, somehow the car was just on the baby, right? And a mom lifted up the car, right? Now, they tried to get that same lady. They were doing like some type of experiment. They were trying to get that same exact lady to lift up a car, maybe like a week later, 2 weeks later, and she couldn't budget. She couldn't budget. But why? It's because she didn't have a reason for doing it that second time. Right? She wasn't in that circumstance. That there's just something about the human mind and something about the human body that performs in a certain way when it has to. Right?
That's what they tell you, fight or flight.
Fight or flight, right? So when you have to do something, Like if you're faced with a situation where it's just, listen, either you attack it or you're dead, right? You're gonna attack in most cases, right? Unless you just, I mean, unless you just have no reason to live, right? But in most cases, people are gonna attack. So when you're faced with a circumstance, when you're faced with a situation that is very challenging for you, when you have a why, when you have a reason for doing what it is that you're doing, you're not going to fold. You're not going to give up, right? Because you have a clear picture of what it is that you want to accomplish, and you're willing to endure whatever to accomplish that. And just going back to what you said, you gave a phenomenal example by talking about braiding hair. Like now it's easy for you to braid hair, but at one point it was difficult, right? When you were younger, but you persisted in it because you wanted to learn how to braid hair.
Yeah.
Right. So
I needed my hair done. Then nobody else knew how to do it, so I had to.
So she had to do her own hair, right? So she had a clear picture of what it is that she wanted. She wanted to learn how to do hair so she could do her own hair, right? She didn't have to rely on anybody else. Well, a repetitive use of a limited ability will always produce an increased capacity, right? So that's a quote. Y'all take that home. A repetitive use of a limited ability will always produce an increased capacity. So just because you can't do something right now doesn't mean you can't do it. And there's a group of people who believe that, oh, this is just who I am. This is just how I am. I'm not good at that thing, or I can't do that thing, or I can't accomplish that, right? They believe, they have this mindset that they can't do something, or that they're not able to do something, and they truly believe it, right? They embody that mindset and they embody that thought process, and it really it cripples them on their path to doing whatever it is that they want to do. There's no such thing as not being able to accomplish anything. I don't care what it is, right? Because when you were born, you didn't know anything, and you look at yourself now, 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, however old you are, you look at yourself now, there's so many concepts that you know how to walk, you know how to talk, you know how to brush your own hair, brush your own teeth, you know how to drive a car. All of those things were learned, right? So you can't tell me that you can't learn something else. Anything that you want to learn, you can learn, but you got to persist in it, right? You gotta set the objective, and you got to make sure that you have a reason for accomplishing that objective, and then you just got to persist, right? The first thing that shows up when you want to accomplish something, or when you set an objective, the first thing that shows up is difficulty. That's the first thing that shows up. Okay. When you set a goal to do anything in life, it doesn't matter what it is, right? You are going to have to overcome struggle and resistance and difficulty and hardship. You have to, right? That's a test of your faith. That's the test to see if you really want that thing, right? And that's the way the world works, right? It's a law. It's a universal law. Okay, so my wife's favorite, what do I want to say? Favorite insect, I guess, is a butterfly.
Yeah.
Okay, so butterflies, they're ugly before they turn beautiful.
Very ugly.
They're ugly, right? But eventually they go into a cocoon, they go into a dark place, and they come out, and it's beautiful, right? Same thing with anything else. Okay, there is a process that you have to go through in order for you to sprout, in order for you to become who you're supposed to become. And if you're not willing to go through the valley, right, then you can't come out on the mountaintop. That's just what it is. I have another question for you, darling.
Okay.
My question is, what do you think is a way for people to get clear on what it is that I don't want to say what it is, but what do you think is a way for people to get clear on how they can accomplish a goal? Like how can they determine a good why or a good reason for doing something? What do you think?
A good why?
Yeah, a good reason for doing something. Like how does somebody establish a good reason for doing what it is that they want to do? If they have a fitness goal, right? They want to get down to 150 pounds, right? And they're 250. How does somebody establish a good why or a good reason for pursuing that goal? Although it's going to be difficult, how do you think they establish a reason for doing that?
Well, I feel like it's a couple things that go into that. Like the first thing is you have to be tired of it. Like if you're making a decision and trying to be persistent in something that is going to require 100% work from you, then you have to be tired of whatever that thing is. So for fitness, if the goal is to be down to 150, 250 pounds, and you still eating snacks all day, and you don't want to change your diet, you don't want to change your exercise, you don't want to change your lifestyle, but you're persistent with drinking more water. You're doing one step to reach that goal, but everything else that falls into line to that, you're not doing that. So until you're hungry, until you're fed up with whatever it is that you're doing, the goal that you're setting to lose 150 pounds is never going to be realistic. It's never going to come to pass because you're being in denial with yourself and you really don't want it.
Yeah.
Like you know that you need to, like people know that they need to lose weight for health reasons, but they can't be persistent enough to do it because one is mind over matter. So their mindset hasn't changed in order to be persistent in that thing. Like whatever we did, our plant-based diet for over a month and lost like literally all the weight, like all the baby
40
weight.
40 days to be exact.
40 days, literally 40 days. All the baby weight that I had gained from both of our children gone in a matter of weeks. Like every week I was losing like 7 pounds or 5 pounds. Like just so many lbs was dropping off of me just from being plant-based.
Yeah.
But we started that cold turkey.
Yeah.
Like, but
we
our mind,
big reason for doing it.
Yes, but our mind was made up. Like there was nothing. Of course, the temptation came. Of course, certain cravings came, but we had the mindset to be like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is why we're doing that. And your why has to matter. You can't just say, oh, I want to do this, and your why don't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Like we cut out certain things even till now with certain things that we won't eat because we have children. We don't want them to eat that because we know the results of eating that will affect them. That why is important to us, like not happening. So I would say you have to be fed up with whatever it is that you're dealing with, especially if it's a fitness goal or whatever it is. If it's personal goals, like I want to be more consistent posting content, I want to be more consistent with socializing with people and this and that. You have to put yourself in those situations and you have to want it bad enough for you to be persistent in it and consistent in it. Like you can't want something and then the reason why you want it serves you no purpose, isn't beneficial towards you, or doesn't mean that much to you.
Yeah, that's real good. That's real good, babe. You hit it on the head. And with that, I mean, we can conclude. Listen, this is a short episode this week.
Just dropping little nuggets.
Yeah,
y'all.
we dropping little nuggets here and there. But listen, we appreciate y'all. We want to encourage you. All of the things that we talk about are things. All of the things that we talk about are things that we're working on ourselves. Maybe some things we've overcame, but these are the things that we're working on ourselves, right? So we're not talking down on anybody. We're just giving our perspective, giving our thoughts, and letting you know some of the things that we experience and some of the things that we notice, and just discussing it.
And sometimes people just need to hear that. Like, there's a lot of times I feel like, especially adults that don't get genuine, real adult conversations or adult conversations that's gonna hold you accountable. Like, yeah, you need to do this. This is how you do this. This is what worked for me. And just having like our intentions for doing YouTube and podcasting and stuff like that is just to help somebody else that may have been in the position that we were, or is trying to overcome certain things that we have, or are in currently trying to overcome. So that's our platform.
Yeah.
To help, to encourage, to build, to grow, all of that good stuff. So
that's it.
Sometimes what we say may stab and sting, and that's nothing but conviction.
Hey, it is what it is. It's good to be poked a little bit. Listen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, post notifications.
Every single time that we post.
Every Monday. All right, every Monday. We appreciate y'all, family. Let love fill your hearts. Peace.
Peace and blessings. Bye.